welcome back to the channel. Hey, who's this now? Looking like a princess. It's me, your girl, Tonia. Hey guys, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new on here, my name is Tonia. I'm a traveler and a lifestyle vlogger based in Florida. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button, okay? Break it, destroy it, and do whatever you like with it. And in today's video, I want to share with you guys how to get jobs in Destin, Florida. Super easy. I got to Destin in November. We're currently in January, and from November till January, I've had 3 job offers. So basically, within 3 months, I've had 3 job offers, and I thought, why don't I share my experience? Because currently, due to the pandemic and everything, a lot of people might have lost their jobs or might have just currently moved to Florida and are probably just looking for a job. So I decided to just share my beats here and there on how I got these job offers and everything. So I have made a similar video when I was living in Dallas, Texas, on how I got a job in Dallas, Texas. My job in Dallas, Texas was, you know how sometimes they say the people that you know can influence, you know, basically your job and stuff like that. My previous job in Dallas, Texas was, you know, like I knew someone and so on and so forth. But this one, I didn't know anyone anywhere. It was just me from the beginning till the end, from application to job interview and everything. So I'm going to share that with you guys today. I hope this video is helpful to you. So yeah, let's get straight into the video. So the first thing I want to say is that start applying for jobs way ahead of time, okay? Before I even got to Destin, while I was still in Dallas, I had already started applying for jobs on Indeed, and even before I got here, I'd already gotten a job interview. So when I applied for the job, someone called me. This was while I was still in my other job, okay? A lot of people start to apply for job the week that they want to, like, they need a job. If you already have things planned and you know exactly where you're headed, I will say start applying for the job way ahead of time. Now, what are the resources available to you when it comes to finding jobs in Destin, Florida? All of the jobs, so in case you didn't know, I currently do 2 jobs, okay? I work 7 days a week. I have no break whatsoever, and yet I still have time to do YouTube. So all of the jobs that I do right now, I found all of them on Indeed. And I don't know, I can't even recommend Indeed enough. In my other job, I recommended Indeed and LinkedIn, but for some reason, Indeed kind of works for me better than LinkedIn. LinkedIn is like the professional level in social media. I don't know if that makes sense, because in LinkedIn, you can post like your picture, your achievements, your awards, and all of that kind of stuff, right? So that's very good to keep a professional profile in case some employers find interest in you and they go there and search for you. Does that make sense? They can see all of your this and that. But when it comes to really finding jobs, let's be very practical. All of the jobs that I have right now, I do 2 jobs right now. I found all of them on Indeed. I have applied for so many jobs there since moving to the United States, and in total I've applied to 65 jobs on Indeed. And from those jobs that I have applied to, I currently now do 2 jobs out of that. I've been in human resources for quite a while now. So my other job, I work as a human resources, and the other job, I work as a business coordinator. So as you can see, like I do like very much professional stuff in my job. So like I feel like I'm the best person to advise you if you are an office head like me, you know. So those are how I found all of the jobs that I currently do. So I would say make Indeed your best friend. Apply for 100 jobs if you have to. So when this employers start to reach out to you, keep your options open, and then when you find what you want, just leave other people and then just do the other one that you like. Do you understand? But apply for multiple jobs. No job is ever too small. From my other job to the job that I do right now, I would tell you that it was a drop down when it comes to pay, but that's because in my other job I also started from somewhere and worked my way up. So be open-minded about getting a job that doesn't pay as much as what you currently earn, and then building your way up. Like if it's a good company, there will be room for growth. So that's my one key point on finding jobs here in Destin, Florida. What are the other ways that you can find jobs? What are other options? If you know someone that is already out here and probably has a job, ask them to look around for you. I did that too. I asked my hobbies friends to like look out for me in their offices. If there's any opening, they should let me know. Now when it comes to interviews, the current job that I just got, I asked the human resources manager, like the person that employed me, I asked her, I was like, what was the reason why you employed me? Because for that particular position, she interviewed 3 people for the position that I got, and I got the job, and I wanted to know the reason why she gave me the job. So the first thing I did was, after I got the job on my first day, I was like, why did you pick me above everyone else? And she was like, first of all, appearance matters. That when I came into the office, I had a presence. I've been in HR for a while, so I know how to dress to an interview. So do not dress to an interview looking rough, For example, when I was doing my other job back in Dallas, Texas, my job was to employ. So I was like a hiring manager. People will show up in all kinds of things. People will show up with jeans to an interview. People will just throw on t-shirts, and some of them will just wear flip-flops. Don't be that kind of a person. If you're showing up in an interview, make sure you look good, smell good. Make sure you look like you intentionally got dressed up for that interview, which is how it's actually supposed to be. So that's the first step when it comes to interview. Make sure that you command presence when you appear. Let them see you first and be like, okay, first of all, let's get the look out of the way. He or she looks good. That's the first thing I would say when it comes to interview. Then the second thing, obviously, I would say research the company. The first thing the person that hired me asked me was, what do you know about our company? And I went ahead to tell her, because prior to going for that interview, I actually on Indeed read about the company, because most companies on Indeed will give you a little highlight of what their companies are about. So I went ahead and I read about the company, and then I didn't stop there. I went further to research them on Google, and I just read about them and what they do, basically what they're about. So when she asked me, I was just going on and on, because I do know very much about the company because I did my research. That's another thing I would say. Even though you feel like you've gotten an interview, whatever, and you feel all confident, make sure you know a little bit about the company. Because imagine someone asking you, what do you know about our company? You've showed up for this interview and you know absolutely nothing. Coming from a HR perspective, me as a HR person, I would want you to know a little bit about my company if I'm going to employ you. So that's the second thing I would say. Do a research about the company before you get there for the interview. Now, when you get to the interview, of course, they're going to be asking you some questions that they have prepared. One thing I want to say is, when it comes to interviews, relax, okay? It's not even that serious. But don't be too friendly, but don't be too tensed either. Just be very neutral. When it comes to interviews, I don't know why I'm like this, but when it comes to talking to people, I mean, if you're watching me right now, you can see that, I know that some people, they're kind of not scared of the camera, but then they're scared of actual people. But I've had to do public speakings almost all my life, all through during my teenage years, back in school, everywhere. I was always into public speaking. I have a competent communicator certification, so I am very good at talking to people. So when I'm talking to an employer, I talk to them like I know my stuff, I know my business. You're asking me about my experiences, I'm not going to come and start blabbing. It is my experience. That's another reason you shouldn't lie in your resume, because when they do ask you about your experiences, you do not want to look stupid. You don't want to look like you don't know what you're doing. If you ask me what I have done for the past 7 years, I can tell you, because this is my experience, and I haven't lied on my resume. So I know what year I did what, when I left school, what I was doing while I was doing this. I want you to be that kind of a person. Make sure that whatever you say matches your resume, because they have your resume, and you wouldn't want to be looking down at your resume while explaining yourself, because this is you, this is your experience. Why should you have to look into a paper to talk about yourself? If you have to practice at home for when you finish this job and went to the other job, do that before you get there, but don't start looking in your paper. I take my resume to my interviews, but when I get there, it's just for me to be able to give it to them if they don't have a copy. It's never for me to use. Even if I carry with me and they don't need it, I always put it face down, I talk to them and not look look down at all, because this is me. That's how you should be. I'm not saying everybody has to be like me, but this is just tips on getting the job. Like, applying for a job is not enough. You have to put in a little bit of effort to actually get the job. Okay, so that's another tip for you for your interview. Dress well, know about the company, and relax in the interview. Okay, and then another advice I'll give you is, when they ask you a question, relate it to actual experiences. So there's this question that they always ask in an interview almost all the time, and which is, they will be like, what was the most difficult experience you've ever had in your line of work, and how did you handle it? Now, this kind of question, I'm going to advise you to relate it to actual experiences. Like for me, when you ask me that question in every interview, I have one story that I tell every single employer, because this employer hasn't heard what I've told that employer, and that is my actual experience, and that is the most difficult experience I've ever had in my line of work. So I've had that ready, so I always tell that story, and it always makes sense. Like, all of them, they always eat it up. Like, they like that story so much. But it is my actual experience. Okay, it's just about dealing with customers and how you handle the situation when there's like chaos. Okay, so that's another advice I'll give you. Relate to questions with actual experiences. It helps it make it more, you know, personal, because this is you, this is your experience. So yeah, that's another thing that I would say when in regards to your application. When you get back home from your application, from your interview, I would say give it about a day, and then maybe a day or two. If you don't hear back from the employer, send them a message, either an email, through how they got to you. Like, if they wanted to give you an interview, they will get back to you somehow, maybe through phone call, text message, or email. So that same way that they got to you, get back to them and be like, hello, my name is Antonia Thibodeau. I applied for a business coordinator with your company, and I just wanted to check on my application status. Okay, something like that, and be like, I look forward to hearing back from you. Thank you and have a good day. So even if that employer has forgotten about you, they will go back and look at you again, and that could bring you back to mind. Does that make sense? So that's another tip that I have for you. So there's really nothing much else to say. I don't even want this video to be long, but that's just how I found all the jobs that well, not all, I only have 2 jobs. Well, not only, because I work 7 days a week, that's a lot, but that's how I found my job here in Destin, Florida. And hopefully this video is helpful to you. If you're planning to move to Destin, make sure you smash the subscribe button, because I'll be sharing more experiences on moving to Destin, living in Destin, and all of that fun stuff. And even if you're moving to the US in general, most of the things that I'm saying are very generic, because if you're moving to Destin, or you're moving to Georgia, or you're moving to Tennessee, like, you can use LinkedIn there, you can use Indeed there too. So this is very helpful either ways, depending on whether you're coming to Destin or not, so long as you're in the US or even anywhere. Okay, so yeah, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and smash the subscribe button. If you're new, break it, destroy it, and do whatever you like with it. In this video, I also share my experiences just traveling. Okay, I have a lot of videos while I was traveling around Europe, and now that I've moved to the US, I do plan on traveling a lot too. I have so much fun videos coming up, and I have some videos you might find interesting on my YouTube channel, so make sure you join the family. Okay, I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye. Hey. 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 Ha. Hey. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.